Let's build a lead magnet people actually want to grow your email list and of course actually make some sales. So timestamps below along with some other helpful videos to building out the rest of your funnel as well as driving traffic to your funnel. Now when it comes to lead magnets, there are 3 different types. Don't worry, we'll go through a ton of different examples and places to go for inspiration. The first type is going to be a insider insight. The second type will be an insider secret. And the third will be insider tools. Now, the form of your lead magnet isn't actually all that important. It can be a PDF, it could be a full-blown webinar, or it could be a spreadsheet. What's important to your potential customer is that it's actually valuable and provides a shortcut to overcoming a roadblock or achieving a result that they are looking for. So let's take a look at what we can do with each different types of these lead magnets, and then in the next section we'll go through all of the different ways to find ideas. So the first one on our list is going to be Insider Insights. And this is where you provide your unique perspective on how to evaluate the situation that they're in. So you want to bring self-awareness to whatever they're struggling with or trying to achieve in order to help them be more successful. So some examples of this could be an audit or self-assessment, a calculator, or a tracker. With Insider Secrets, you're bringing your unique experience to them and essentially giving them an answer as to how they can achieve a specific result or overcome specific roadblocks. A great example of these would be a report, resource list, or special training. Of course, we'll go through examples of all of these, so hopefully by the end you have an idea of what will work best for your business and offer. And finally, we have the Insider Tools. This is one of my personal favorites, and this could be a template, planner, or organizer, and you're simply starting the work for them. You're sharing your unique process for achieving a specific result or overcoming a specific roadblock. Now, of course, this all works because you have an idea of what they're trying to achieve and what roadblocks are in their way. So what I recommend doing is even before you go through the next step in this process is just have a list of all the results your ideal customer is trying to achieve and all of the things that are getting in their way so you know how you can be helpful to them. And great lead magnets can help achieve results and they can also help overcome roadblocks, right? So let's go ahead and jump into where we can find some ideas for our lead magnets. And the first 3 places that you can go would be Creative Market, which is my favorite, and followed by Etsy and Fiverr. Now don't worry, I'm not telling you to go make a Fiverr gig. You can just go through Fiverr gigs in your niche or industry and you'll start to get ideas of little things that you can put together to be helpful to your ideal customer. So you might not want to give a service for free right off the bat, but maybe you can go through Fiverr, find a couple of gigs and say, okay, if I had to make a template for this, or if I had to make a video on how they could do this, what would that look like? And that is a great idea for a lead magnet. Now, a little more concrete, let's go ahead and go over to Creative Market and then just search whatever your niche or industry is, plus a keyword like course, worksheet, workbook, or template. You're going to get a lot of examples and a lot of ideas. So as an example, we could just go over to Creative Market and type in marketing template, right? And then we'd find a bunch of templates. And sometimes you're actually able to find worksheets that have been done for you. So I recommend starting with searching template and searching course, and then searching template or course worksheet, and you're going to get a lot of examples. Here's one that I found just after 3 minutes of going through Creative Market, and it applies to a lot of different types of businesses. And while I'm not saying that you should just steal what they have, you can actually just purchase it for a couple bucks and use it as a lead magnet. You're going to get a lot of inspiration and a lot of ideas on not only how to design your lead magnet, but what you could do with your lead magnet to ensure that it's actually valuable. And if none of those websites work for you, 20 or 30 minutes later, you're still staring blankly at your screen going, I don't have an idea. Hopefully one of these 9 will draw some inspiration. Of course, if you already have an idea, here's the timestamp to skip ahead to the next section where we outline our lead magnet, and of course, link in the cards and the description to a video that takes a super deep dive on all of these. I'm just going to rapid fire through them. So first up, we have our analytics audit. This is actually one of the lead magnets that we used to use for our analytics service. So someone would enter their name and email, they'd get a PDF that helped them walk through Google Analytics, see what's working, see what isn't, and of course, most importantly, all the settings that they had forgotten to turn on. And then it ended with a strong call to action to book a strategy call with us to help with the implementation of some more advanced features. So what's really important here is a lead magnet helped them overcome some roadblocks immediately. Even if they didn't take the strategy call, they still got value and still were able to fix some of the problems in their analytics account on their own. The next one here we have is a calculator, because nobody likes to do math, let alone having to show all your work, right? It was one of the most annoying things for me in math classes. I got the right answer. Yeah, but you didn't show your work. So 0, right? Here, we don't have to do that because there's no math teacher. So all we have to do is allow our ideal customers to enter in some information, specifically numbers, of course, and then the spreadsheet will do the calculations for them. You can hire someone on Fiverr and Upwork for less than $100 to build you pretty much any type of calculator you can think of, and these are incredibly valuable because nobody likes doing math. Now, the third type of insider insight tool or offer that we can make will be a tracker. And so this is simply going to help someone track their progress from point A wherever they are to point B wherever they're trying to go. And so a goal tracker works pretty much in almost any niche or industry where someone's trying to better themselves, and you can just tweak the goal tracker to whatever your niche is. For example, someone's trying to achieve business results, you're probably going to have them put in the number of sales calls they're doing or some sales numbers, versus someone's trying to lose weight. Well, they're probably going to be tracking their weight, right? So just think about what metrics they need to be tracking. Now, the next three will be in our Insider Secrets category, and the first one's going to be a report where we do all this research for them and we compile it down and just give them the answer and say, here's what I think you should do, or here's what we found after doing all this research that you don't have to do anymore. And of course, a dividend report is a great example of that. And next we have a resource list where we just share all of the tools and gear that we use on a daily or weekly basis in whatever we're working on, right? So in this particular instance, it could be a hiking checklist. You could also make a video recording checklist, right? Or video gear checklist. I'm just thinking video because I've been staring at a camera for a while. So the final one is going to be one of the hardest on this list, and it's the last one I recommend doing, and that would be a special training where you do anywhere from 15 to 20 or 30 minutes of talking about a specific result you've been able to achieve and sharing your process for achieving that result. So this is going to be more like a video sales letter or a webinar. These take a really long time to put together, which is why it's one of the last type of lead magnets I recommend making. Now, our final three are going to be a template where you help start the process for someone. So as an example, we offer a tag manager playbook where we help people go through the process of installing their tags the right way. Of course, it doesn't necessarily have to be a worksheet or workbook. It could also be a different file type, right? So going through Creative Market and Etsy, you're probably going to find a lot of people selling Canva and Photoshop files. So that's another file type that we could provide where someone is you're essentially buying the template and you can turn around and create a template that you sell. Now, obviously there's licensing issues. Don't buy it and then just give it away for free. Make sure you read the fine print, but that's just an example of other file types that you can provide as a template. Then we could offer a spreadsheet-based planner where you help someone plan out their process to success. One of the things that we've offered in the past is a content planner calendar. So someone could go through and pre-plan when they're going to post and where they're going to post and of course what they're going to post, right? And finally, we have the organizer helping someone get all the information they need in one place in order to be successful with whatever they're working on. So go ahead and hit that like button if you made it this far. Comment below if you still don't have any idea what to do for a lead magnet. I really wanted to make sure that this specific section went over the top because sometimes just coming up with one idea is the hardest part. So hopefully you have an idea by now. It's time to outline it, which is going to be the second hardest part of this entire process. And it's important to remember that as we start outlining, we are creating something to help our prospect achieve a specific result. So step number one is going to be completing this sentence. Promise it's going to make sense in a moment. So step number one, we're going to complete this sentence. This lead magnet allows you to fill in the blank with overcome a roadblock or achieve a specific result. And you want to use this as your guiding post for everything else that you put into your lead magnet. So pretend like someone is an ideal customer and you're at a coffee shop and they say, hey, what's this lead magnet sitting here on the desk, right? Sitting here on the table. You say, oh, well, this lead magnet's great because it allows you to achieve specific result, overcome specific roadblock. And of course, we want to make sure that it is shortcut based. We don't want to say, hey, this is going to be 67 steps to success in all of life. And someone's just going to look at that and go, okay, wow, that's going to take a while. Thanks. I'll get back to you in 3 months. We don't want that. We want something short and sweet, like 3 keys to success, 4 ways to generate more traffic, 7-point video launch checklist, 12 resources for filming YouTube videos, video script template, etc. We'll get to naming in a moment, but we want it to be a quick result that we can achieve for someone. Then the next step is going to be listing out 3 things that normally get in the way of achieving this result, or 3 things that are really challenging about the specific roadblock you're helping them overcome. And then the final step is writing out how you would approach getting that result or overcoming that roadblock. And hopefully with these 3 pieces of information, you can figure out a simple and elegant way to communicate your process or create a template or create some sort of audit that is going to help someone get self-awareness or essentially get started with achieving that result or overcoming that roadblock. I know that's a little murky. It was really hard to come up with a way to go through this entire process without specifically knowing whatever your lead magnet, let alone your niche or industry, is going to be. Now, something that is pretty universal is going to be the lead magnet title. And I highly recommend creating a title for your landing page first. It's a little counterintuitive, and then coming up with a fancy lead magnet title, because your headline on your landing page is really what's going to drive people to getting your lead magnet in the first place. And so we want to figure out how we're going to grab someone's attention so that they actually look at the lead magnet. And of course, you can use the same title or very similar title for your lead magnet as well. Now, coming up with a title and your headline is a video in and of itself. So again, we are going to rapid fire. Feel free to pause on these slides so you can go through it at your own pace. Now, these are the headline formulas I recommend looking at when it comes to figuring out what you should name the headline on your landing page, and of course, how you could potentially name your lead magnet. And as you can see here, all we're doing is we're talking about results and we're talking about roadblocks, right? So we're thinking about what's the result our lead magnet provides and what roadblocks does it help people overcome, and then we communicate that. That's it. We don't have to get super fancy. We don't need some high-ticket copywriting course in order to be successful here. So let's go through the first 2 examples, how to result without roadblock or how to break through a roadblock even if they have another roadblock. So again, you can always pause on this screen, timestamps below, and let's go through an actual example here. So we could say something to the effect of how to grow your channel without getting lots of views. And then of course, this could be a channel audit where you help someone walk through their analytics to figure out how they could be more successful. This could also be a template for helping someone optimize their videos for search better. Then the next one, how to dramatically improve your video quality without buying a new camera. So this could be a guide going through camera settings or a gear list going through really cheap things like lighting, which is actually normally way more important than the camera itself. And then skipping down a few, we have how to generate residual income in 90 days, even if you have less than 5K subscribers. So this could be a planner or in terms of creating a content calendar or some sort of promotion calendar to help a new YouTuber figure out how they can better integrate calls to action for affiliate offers or their own products or services so they can actually start increasing their income, because income and subscriber counts, spoiler alert, pretty much is disconnected at this point when it comes to being successful marketing here on YouTube. Although, again, that's a whole nother video. So hopefully these examples help with coming up with some other headlines. And of course, we're just showing some of the other examples of the other headline formulas. Always feel free to pause and just get inspiration from these. And of course, there's no copyright on these formulas. These are pretty standard when it comes to writing headlines. So go ahead and use all of these for inspiration. And of course, one of these is ultimately going to be the headline on your landing page, and you'll use a variation of this for your lead magnet. Now, when it comes to to how to design your lead magnet, I'll link up in the cards and the description to a full-blown video that walks through how to use Canva to create great looking PDFs if you decide that you don't want to purchase something from Etsy or Creative Market, or you weren't able to find something there. Although I would highly recommend just seeing if you can find something that you can work with, and you can actually purchase Canva templates on Creative Market and Etsy and bring them over to your own Canva account and modify them as you see fit. And this is going to ensure that your lead magnet is leagues ahead of a lot of other people out there, because there are so many bad lead magnets out there. You've opted into a list and been sent something and go, you just like made this at 1 a.m. in the morning because you thought you needed something, right? It's a terrible feeling, and you don't want your ideal customers having that feeling. You want them to receive something and, wow, this design is amazing. I can't believe they spent this much time on something that was free. I wonder what their paid stuff is, as opposed to, okay, I guess this is all right. I might not read their emails anymore. I'm not really impressed, right? So this is our best elevator pitch, our best foot forward in terms of our business calling card, saying, hey, we actually care about you and we can actually give you something awesome. And that is what's going to help drive the sales process. So speaking of the sales process, here's a quick rundown of what your lead magnet funnel will actually look like. And this entire process starts with your landing page. So this is going to be a special page that does one thing: offers your lead magnet. And I'll link up in the cards and the description to a video that actually goes through how to set this page up and how to do automations in a tool that we recommend called MailerLite, although this works with pretty much any email service provider out there. And once someone gives you their contact information, you immediately send them the lead magnet. And then you have some options in terms of emails that you can send to make offers for your own products, affiliates products, or your own services. Really, your lead magnet's job is to get that contact information. Once they get that contact information and the email autoresponder sends off that lead magnet, the whole lead magnet lead generation process is done, and then you can go ahead and start whatever other sales process that you have. Of course, hit that subscribe button if you want more information on how to actually convert all of these new leads into sales. Now, when it comes to optimizing your lead magnets, it's a little counterintuitive, because the process that we just looked at, landing page to confirmation page to sending the lead magnet and then having whatever sales process comes next, is pretty static. Once you create that lead magnet, you'll try different versions of your landing page to see if you can get more people to opt in. But actually, the best way to test your lead magnet is to create more of them. So one of the things that we found over the past couple of years is when it comes to creating your lead magnet, the biggest difference is changing the offer that's put in front of people, and of course, that's the lead magnet. Now, the power of this is, I'm not saying you have to make tons of different affiliate offers. You have to make tons of different funnels. You have to make tons of different products or services. Not at all. All we're doing is trying different lead magnets. And what's cool about this is once someone opts into your list, they can all receive the same emails. They can all receive the same offer. You're just testing the front end, seeing which lead magnet gets you the most people interested in joining your email list, and then which lead magnet actually contributes most to sales. Because something you'll find as you go through creating more and more lead magnets is sometimes the most popular lead magnets have the lowest sales conversion rates later on. So hopefully you have a much better picture of what you could do in terms of how to create your lead magnet ideas. Comment below with your lead magnet questions and hit that subscribe button for more deep dive marketing tutorials just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love.